Hello, creative designers. Welcome again to my channel. In case you are new here, my name is Gift. And if you're an old subscriber, thank you so much for always tuning in. Okay, so today I'm going to be showing us how to achieve this flawless look we have on the screen. So, this particular beaded fabric was draped just like you have it on the screen. So I'm going to be showing you how to achieve this look. I'm going to be showing you the tips, the tricks, the techniques, the do's and the don'ts. So in case you have not liked this video, what are you waiting for? Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you've not done so, and also do not forget to turn your notification bell so you can always be the first to get notified every time I post a new video. Okay, more so I need us to understand that when it comes to draping, there are many techniques to it, but how I achieve this look, I'm going to be showing you. So let's dive into the video. Welcome back, creative designers. Okay, so in order to drape, you must have your foundation or the base. Okay, so for every drape sits on a particular base. Okay, so you need to prepare your base just like I have here. This is a bustier, a princess that bustier with a plunging neckline. You can do whatever suits you. Okay, just make sure you have your base ready. Okay, and this is a lace fabric I will be working with. Okay, it's a beaded fabric, and of course for every beaded fabric you have one part is always more stretchy than the other. Okay, so the part that is stretchy is what you are going to be placing across around your circumference, I mean your horizontal circumference or your horizontal measurement. By horizontal measurement, I mean your bust measurement, your waist measurement, and your hip measurement. So if you notice in the video, the first thing I did was to, you know, pin down the sides. Okay, whichever side you want to start from is totally fine. You want to pin down the sides. After pinning down the side, the next thing you do is to flip across just like I'm doing in the video. Okay, you want to flip across just like I'm doing in this video. And creative designers, please, I need us to pay attention to this video. Make sure you see this video to the very end, because throughout this video I may not speak throughout, but I just need you to watch what I'm doing in the video, and if you miss one part you might get confused. Okay, so now let's continue. After I have pinned down the upper part just like you can see in the video, the next thing you want to do is to drag. Now, I want to put a disclaimer on that word drag. Please do not over drag. Just stretch a little bit so that you don't damage your fabric. Now, remember, I told us that one part is more stretchy than the other. So, because one part is more stretchy than the other, it is very easy for you to drag or to stretch your fabric this way, just like I'm doing in the video. So, you want to ensure that as you drag, it is following the original silhouette of your client or your dress form. Now, I also forgot to tell us that in order to drape, you need a dress form. In order to do this kind of draping, you need a dress form, please. Or you could also decide to drape directly on your client. But in cases where you don't have your client present, the dress form is always the best thing to use. Okay, so now just watch what I'm doing in the video. I'm going to keep dragging or stretching just so that my fabric can follow the original silhouette of my dress form or the original silhouette of the base that I'm working with. Okay, can you see what I'm doing in the video? So just stretch, but do not overstretch. Be careful so that you don't get your fabric torn or damaged. Okay, so you just keep doing that just like I'm doing in the video. You stretch, you adjust, you stretch. I mean, that is what draping is all about. Okay, that is what draping is all about. You stretch, you check to see if it is well laid on your dress form or the base. Okay, you want to make sure that it is properly laid. Okay, now another thing I need us to take note of is when you want to drape, you want to make sure that the base you're working with or the foundation you're working with is properly pressed or ironed. Make sure you open up your seam lines. I always tell people, You don't expect your base to be rough. You don't expect to get a good result when your base is rough. So you don't expect your result to be fine or good if you have a very wrong foundation. Okay, so make sure that the foundation you're working with is properly laid out. Make sure you press open your seam lines. Make sure you press open your seam lines. I keep iterating on this because this is very important. Okay, that is trick number one. Number two, if you notice from the base, it is padded already. Okay, so I've already infused my pads or my I've already infused my bra cups. That is if you're making use of bra cups or your wording. Okay, so I've already infused my wording to the lining fabric. So both the lining fabric and the main fabric is what I have on the dress form. Okay, so you want to make sure that the bust measurement you're working with is already padded. Okay, make sure it is firm. Okay, that is what draping is all about. Firmness. It doesn't have to be too tight and it shouldn't be loose at all. Okay, just make sure you are following the original silhouette of your dress form. Now take a look at what I'm doing here. If you can see, you notice that the base I'm working with at that point got a little bit rumpled. So in order to straighten it out, I'm just stretching it out a little bit, just like I'm doing in the video. That is exactly what you want to achieve. Now, I will say it is much more easier if you're working directly on your clients, okay? Because of course you'll be working with the actual measurement of your clients, unlike the dress form, which may not be accurate or commensurate with the measurement of your clients, okay? But you just have to find a way around it, just like we are doing in the video. Okay, so you keep stretching, you keep rearranging, you keep stretching, you keep rearranging. You check out for um rumpled parts. If you notice there's any part that is rumpled, you want to remove the pin, rearrange, and then pin down again, just like I am doing in the video. And like I told us before, make sure you do not skip any part of this video. Make sure you see this video to the very end, because I'm going to be showing you some other things that you need to pay attention to. Now just take a look at the hemline of this dress I'm working with. Now, because the original measurement I'm working with is not the same with the measurement of the dress form, you could notice that we have some kind of gaping. Should I call it gaping? No, some kind of excess around the hemline, just like you can see in the video. And see the way I'm trying to adjust that so that the excess does not affect the draping. Okay, so you just need to remove your pin and adjust it in such a way that it follows the original shape of the fabric. Okay, make sure your lace is following the original shape of the fabric. Now at this point, I'm just measuring out the seam allowance. Okay, because of course this is a beaded fabric, and eventually I'm just going to be trimming out or removing the beads that falls exactly on my seam line. You don't want to sew on your seam line because you're going to get your machine spoiled, or you're just gonna end up spoiling your fabric. So I'm just measuring out the seam allowance around there, that is on my seam line, so that I can remove the beads around that area. Now remember what I also told us, that in case it is not following the original silhouette of your dress form, by silhouette I mean the original shape of your dress form, you are free to remove the pins and readjust. Okay, as far as you have your foundation correct, you've taken accurate measurements, you've drafted properly, and you've sewn properly, you don't have any issue. All you just need to do is to make sure that the lace or the fabric you're working with is following the original shape of your foundation, okay, or the base. I keep saying this because that is the most important thing here. Okay, make sure it is following the original shape. Make sure you don't have any excess anywhere. If there is any part that is not well relaxed, you could remove your pin and rearrange it. Okay, just like I'm doing in the video. Make sure it is following the original silhouette. Make sure it is following the original shape. So just keep doing that until you get the required results. So now on the neckline, as you can see, the neckline is actually a plunging neckline. Of course, I'm going to be cutting out the lace fabric that we have around there later on, but I'm just making sure that the lace fabric is firm around my neckline. That is also very important. Now also take a look at this side. Can you see? You can see that we have some kind of wrinkle around there. All I just did was to remove my pin and then rearrange. Okay, make sure you rearrange your foundation and your lace. Just make sure you arrange it in such a way that you don't have any wrinkle, you don't have any part that is not relaxed. Make sure that every part is relaxed. Okay, that is just the trick to it. There is no two way about it. Yes, this will take a long time, let me say that. Okay, draping takes time, but with constant practice you're gonna come out with good results. And let me tell us, this is the very first time I'm working with beaded lace fabric like this. Okay, I actually decided to try out draping because I feel I could do it. So, and that is why I am not hiding or keeping or hoarding any part. I need you to see every part of this video so that you too can learn. Okay, so that you can learn. Okay, so at this point you just want to keep adjusting, readjusting, check out some parts that are not relaxed. If there's any part that is not relaxed, you want to rearrange it. And at this point I think I was done here. Okay, so we were done. And now it's time to cut. You can see how scared I was at this point because I was really worried about the beads falling off. Okay, but let me show you what I did eventually that saved me from that dilemma. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you do not cut exactly on the line. By the line, I mean on the hemline. Make sure you don't cut exactly on the hemline. You could go down a little bit by about 0.25 of an inch. Now, the reason why you are going down by about 0.25 of an inch is so that even if the beads are going to fall off eventually, they don't fall all the way through to the hemline. Okay, so you just give it some space. Do you understand? You give it some space because you're going to be removing the beads around that area when it's time to stitch down. I love to stitch down because I feel that reinforces my fabric more to the foundation compared to using the hemming gum method. Okay, I love to use the hemming gum, but for this particular method I decided to sew down or stitch down my lace fabric to the foundation. Okay, so back to what I was saying, you want to just make sure that you don't cut exactly on the hemline. You want to cut around 0.25 inch more than the hemline. Now, so you want to go down from the hemline by about 0.25 inch, just like I'm doing in this video, so that you have enough allowance to work with when it's time for you to stitch down your lace fabric. Can you see what I'm saying? Okay, so I had an excess. At this point I was really scared, to be sincere, but you know what, this actually turned out to be one of the best projects I've worked on so far. Okay, so this is what we have at the end of the day. So creative designers, I hope you learned one or two things. And if you want me to show you how I also draped the back, because of course the front and the back are not the same, please let me know in the comments section. If you want me to show us, if you want if you want us to show if you want me to show you how I draped the back part, because of course the front has the bust but the back does not have the bust. Okay, so of course it's going to be different. So if you actually want me to show you how I drape the back part, please let me know in the comment section. Okay, so like I said before, I'm going to be cutting out the neckline eventually and then I'll fix my yoke. And at the end of the day, this is what we have. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I do. Please do not fail to subscribe, like, share and comment, and then I will see you in my next video. Bye.